Good morning. Welcome to the breakfast meeting here on NBS Television. My name is Isabella Tugume. It is the political season, but also the 90 days of oil and mining continue. And our discussion today is revolving around youth for business initiatives and extractives. Now, if I may just briefly give you a quick preamble, Uganda is a home to the most youthful population in the world, with a staggering 23% of the country's population aged between 18 and 30 years old. However, the country's efforts to suppress the spread of COVID-19, while commendable, have not entirely resulted into the disruption of economic activity, but also threatened the survival of micro, small and medium enterprises, which are the main employers of the youth. Now, the mining and oil sector are, among others, have several opportunities for the youth to engage in innovation and entrepreneurship, which have a high multiplier effect on creation of jobs and livelihoods. But how can the youth be helped to achieve this particular goal? Joining me this morning is Mr. Tony Otoa, the Executive Director, Stanbic Business Incubator, and Mr. Nicholas Burunde, the Programs Officer from UNDP. Hello, Tony. How are you today?
Well, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello, Nicholas.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
All right, so I'll start with you, Nicholas. What are some of the initiatives you've put in place to support Uganda's youth?
So, thank you very much, Mabel. UNDP has been in Uganda for over the last 40 years, and we have been focusing on strengthening sustainable development and ensuring that our youth and our country grows on a growth trajectory that is inclusive for everyone else. And so at the moment, we currently have about 3 programs that we are running to support youth, one of which is the Graduate Volunteer Scheme that seeks to equip youth with employability skills such that they're able to go out there and seek employment, or are able to go out there and start their own businesses. The second initiative that we have is on engaging youth in peace and conflict resolution. It's a new initiative that we've just started, and the idea is, how do we roll on beyond the current political season that we're in to ensure that our youth have a stake in the kind of development that we are having? And number 3 is the Youth for Business, an innovative instrument developed by UNDP and Stanbic Business Incubator, largely to foster impact-driven entrepreneurship, innovation, and using business solutions as a tool to address the huge youth unemployment and unemployment challenge that we have in this country.
All right. Tony, why was the Youth for Business facility initiated?
So, first and foremost, it's very important for us to realize that we have a huge number of young people, youth, around the country. Many of them are struggling with the most critical thing right now, employment. Yes. You know, so many of them do not have jobs and are trying to, do so many things in order to survive. But we came in to say, how do we support them? How do we support them to become, to become more resilient? Support their businesses to become, more resilient and sustainable, but also to see ways in which we can encourage youth entrepreneurship in this country. Not everyone is probably destined for a job, but some people can actually jump into business and have formidable enterprises that we can support and develop. So we decided to come into play with UNDP and say, let us support these youth in that journey. Let us see to it that these young people are able to have businesses that can grow, be more sustainable, but also employ more young people. So that's really why we came in and said, we want to be part of this journey. And again, remember, like I said, the youth are a huge chunk when you think about our population. And that's why it's important for us to cater for them.
All right. Now, Nicholas, given that our focus is on the oil and gas and mining sector, how is this facility supporting youth to engage in that particular sector?
So the Youth for Business is an initiative that was launched by His Excellency the President on the 12th of August, on International Youth Day actually. And the idea behind Youth for Business is to create about 20,000 jobs over the next 5 years, to reskill and retool about 50,000 young people, and to create about 100,000 indirect jobs. Now, to do this, we're looking at 7 sectors of the economy. That's agriculture, that's tourism, that's mining, particularly development minerals, that's manufacturing, renewable energy, ICT, and the creative arts. Now, when it comes to oil and gas sector, we're not particularly engaged in oil per se, but we're looking at supporting young people with initiatives that can plug into the value chain related to the oil and gas sector. For instance, the young people who are engaged in rabbitry. Rabbit meat is one of those most highly nutritious and sought after meats in this country now, especially given the kind of expat population we're going to have in the Hoima and Albertine Graben. And so if we can support young people to engage in that kind of business, engage in those kinds of value chains, tourism is big, especially in the Murchison Falls area, which has the highest biodiversity per square meter. So how do we support our young people to engage in the value chains that link into the oil and gas sector? And that is what Youth for Business is about.
Okay.
Yes.
Tony, what are the categories what categories of youth are targeted in this particular initiative? And how are you addressing the lack of financing for youth businesses?
Okay, when we talk about categories, I'm not very clear on what that is, but I mean, when we talk about the age bracket, we're talking about between 18 to 35. But remember as well, we are not really saying that the business owners have to be between 18 and 35. We're saying, I mean, they could be old like my brother Nicholas here, above 40, but employing a huge chunk of youth. We also encourage that kind of enterprise because at the end of the day, it's about seeing as many youth going through that process or enjoying the benefits of our facility. But in terms of the financing, what we want to do as a bank, and that's why the bank has also come in to say, beyond this seed funding that the UNDP is giving to support these businesses to grow, to expand, and of course the training that the Business Incubator will give them over this period of time, the bank is coming in to offer cheap financing at 12%. Okay? That is the cheapest you can get in the market. You see, the biggest challenge that many businesses will face or many business people will tell you is access to finance. Here we're simply saying we want to, plug that in and support the businesses beyond the seed funding. So the seed funding is coming in to support them to grow and develop a business idea. We train them, support them, make them more resilient, and then the financing comes in for them to scale. That is what we're coming in with.
All right. Nicholas, where can the youth access more information about this Youth for Business facility?
So UNDP and Stanbic have tried to provide as much information as possible to the youth through the UNDP website. There's lots of information at www.ug.undp.org. And in there, you can find a lot of information about Youth for Business. Also, you can visit our social media handles on Facebook, on Twitter, and Instagram. You can find lots of information on Youth for Business. The Stanbic Bank branches across the country, they have 77 branches, and we've ensured that all these branches have as much information as possible. We are also using the hubs for the Stanbic Business Incubator. They have 5 hubs across the country, in Mbarara, in Gulu, in Mbale, Kampala, as well as Mbale and Hoima. And so we have provided as much information as possible in each of these areas. We are also currently undertaking roadshows across the whole country, in the north, in the east, and in the west, to ensure that we provide as much information to the district commercial officers who fit within the local government structure. We are also trying to engage the district community development officers to ensure that they can support young people to apply for this very good opportunity.
All right. Well, it was really lovely having both gentlemen in studio discussing opportunities for the youth in the oil and mining sector. Before I let you go, I'll start with you, Tony. What would you like the viewers to take home from the conversation we had this morning? And I'll wind up with Nick.
I think it's very important for us to understand that the youth are a very important section in our community or our society. And it's very important for us to be able to support them, to be able to have a great contribution towards, the economy of the country, but also a great contribution towards building this nation. This facility for me is a great one that not only gives the youth an opportunity to be what I'm saying, but also an opportunity to take charge of their situations in whatever sense, but also in the entrepreneurial area. And I think we are here to help. We and the UNDP, this is what we want to do for the next 5 years.
All right. Thank you so much, Tony. Yes, Nicholas.
Like you alluded to, Mabel, at the beginning, youth form 78% of Uganda's population. Under 30, that's just under 30. And then you have another 23% who fit within the age bracket of 18 to 23. That's a huge demographic dividend that this country can take significant advantage of if and only if we invest in these young people. And so Youth for Business is here to invest in young people, to help them turn their dreams into a reality. That's what we're here to do.
Thank you so much, Nicholas. You've called me Mabel twice. I'm Isabella Tugume. But our conversation this morning was pertaining to the 90 days of oil and mining, helping Uganda, and of course, understanding the Youth for Business facility that was set up. This particular initiative was set up by both UNDP and Stanbic Business Incubator. Just in case you have any questions, they have told you exactly where you need to go. For a couple of days now, it must be about over 70 days, we've been having discussions pertaining to oil and mining. A couple of people were asking me, at what point are the youth going to get involved in this process? This breakfast meeting was meant for you. Just in case you missed out, we will be having this particular clip uploaded onto our Next Media YouTube channel. I am Isabella Tugume. Good morning and God bless.